Students around Millersville's campus are extremely active in their departments, and the chemistry students are definitely not an exception. Chem major Michael Buell has been conducting research for his senior graduation requirement for the chemistry department. He has been busy creating, tweaking, and testing a spectrometer made almost entirely out of Legos.
A spectrometer is to measure light. In my case, it measures visible light. So it measures the spectrum of light, and it measures as the light passes through a sample, depending on the intensity of the light after it passes through the sample, can be measured and compared to before it passes through the sample, and you can get a ratio, and that ratio tells you absorbance.
Buell has been working since the beginning of the fall 2016 semester. He discovered the opportunity to build the spectrometer through Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Dr. Daniel Albert.
I'm interested in building things, and Dr. Albert said about the idea of building a spectrometer, and I thought that was really cool, and then he told me we can build it for low cost, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome, because I know that a commercial grade spectrometer is anywhere from like $25,000 to $30,000, so we built that one for less than $50, so that's a magnitude of price difference.
Buell also recently got back from presenting his research at the 283rd Annual American Chemical Society Convention in San Francisco, California. There, he was able to have an in-depth conversation about his research with like-minded individuals.
I mean, it's all chem majors, so everyone kind of has an understanding of how a spectrometer works. So you kind of had to gear my talk depending on who the audience is. So like for my parents, I had to explain how a spectrometer works and what each components does, but there I was kind of more able to explain more of the data versus the actual like components. It was more talking about like ways to improve it with other individuals, and why I use certain things other than other components.
Buell stressed to me that his instrument was by no means research grade, but that it could be a fantastic tool for lower-income schools to teach students about spectroscopy in a more hands-on way.
It's one thing reading about how a spectrometer works in a book. I mean, anyone can read it or look up a picture of it online, but until you actually like build the spectrometer and you place each component side by side and you see them in line and how they work, to me that becomes a much more fundamental tool of the principles of spectroscopy, rather than just reading and looking at a picture in a book. You can see how each component interacts with each other. It's right there in front of you. There's no like questioning what does one component do compared to the other. You see from start to finish what has to happen to record a spectrum. I am here merely to serve as an educational tool to show that it can be done, and that if you really want to learn about spectroscopy, it can be done for fairly cheap.
I'm Caitlin Rogers for Millersville University Multimedia Magazine.